Hello and welcome to LaRosa Reads. I'm Denise LaRosa, and today I am going to be chatting it up about this year's, that means 2025's, NAACP Image Award nominees in the literary fiction category. It is a crisp Saturday here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I am sitting in my car, obviously, and my oldest daughter is getting her hair done. I have always been a huge fan of the NAACP Image Awards. I believe it is an opportunity for Black artists' work to be recognized in such a special and important way. I, however, have only paid attention to those who are being recognized in the music industry and the film industry, as well as the TV industry. I never was aware until last year of the literary categories at the NAACP Image Awards. I was so excited about this newfound category for myself that last year I explored previous year's winners. I also read and took a huge guess at who would be the winner for the 2024 literary fiction category. I was very wrong, but had a lot of fun nonetheless. This year, I'm going to make a prediction and also share the books from the literary fiction category that I have already read, 2 that I'm currently reading, and 1 that I have yet to read, but I'm excited to get to. Without any further ado, here we go.
The NAACP Image Awards is a prestigious annual ceremony celebrating excellence in film, TV, music, theater, and literature, honoring the achievements of Black artists and creators. Founded in 1967 by Tony Vaz, the awards were created to uplift positive representation in the entertainment industry. Over the years, it has become known as the Black Oscars, recognizing talent often overlooked by mainstream awards. While many people tune in for the big winners in film and television, the NAACP Image Awards also recognize outstanding literary works across multiple categories, including fiction, nonfiction, poetry, and more. Today, I'm diving into the nominees for outstanding literary work in fiction, highlighting the incredible storytelling that deserves to be on your radar. For many, the NAACP Awards is the one that matters, celebrating Black excellence on a grand stage.
I was so excited to see in the literary fiction category the one, the only Tia Williams, and her newest release, Love Songs, or A Love Song for Ricki Wilde. I love that it is set in the Harlem Renaissance in one timeline of a dual timeline. I love the magical realism elements, and of course, I love the love story. So Ricki Wilde, our protagonist, is one of several daughters in this wealthy family, and I believe they're located in Atlanta. She has always stuck out like a sore thumb. She was that daughter who just didn't follow the traditional pathway that her parents had set for the daughters. And she finds this wonderful mentor, if you will, this older woman. Their worlds collide, and she encourages Ricki to pursue her love of being a botanist and having her own flower shop. This idea, this dream, this support of the older woman takes her from Atlanta to Harlem, and she's living in this brownstone. And from there, we just have one magical encounter after another, after another. It is a joy, it's mysterious, and it's so fun. So the deeply mysterious but oh so handsome stranger that Ricki encounters in a very mysterious, magical way is so handsome. Of course, we have a romance between Ricki and this mysterious stranger. Miss Della, the older woman, is just a wonderful combination of being a part of Ricki's experience in real time while also having this ethereal, almost angelic nature about her. that makes her character so endearing and fun as well. The side characters could have been developed a little further. Is this Tia Williams' best effort or best work? In my humble opinion, maybe not necessarily. However, it is fantabulous. And I give her all of her flowers that she deserves for stretching herself as an author and going into this genre. Yes, she's a romance author, but she also played around with magical realism in a way that I could tell she was stretching herself and evolving as an author. And what more can you ask from an artist, from a writer than that? I thoroughly enjoyed myself. It was a 4-star read. The other book in the literary fiction category that I've already read is titled What You Leave Behind by Wanda M. Morris. We have this neighborhood in the South, this town that is just being victimized and is a victim of gentrification in a way that is very real, but yet mysterious, and leaves much to be explored outside of the book. I loved how Wanda M. Moore sets this up in a way where the reader is not only enjoying the mystery of the book, but it leaves you wanting to learn more about gentrification and to do something, to act. This woman who is the protagonist is an attorney who had left her hometown area, her neighborhood, and achieved success as a lawyer. Without giving too much away, she ends up living back at home with her father and her stepmother. Her mother has indeed passed away. That's not giving away too much. She has to humble herself and take on a job that is way beneath her. And this corporation that she works for is very odd and just disturbing. It's a family business, a family corporation, and the CEO is a woman who's supportive of our protagonist, but our protagonist is also tussling with that CEO's nephew, who is not a fan of her. Our protagonist has to navigate working in this place that is really a passive aggressive and just low-key racist. You have all this going on, and you also have mysterious deaths that are happening in the area. And this leads our protagonist to tap into her lawyer tendencies that have never left her. And she knows that it's dangerous and way bigger than her. She's in way over her head, but she's determined to solve these mysteries and help support the families who have just been victims of gentrification. She wants to get justice for them. It was riveting. It was enthralling. I could not put the book down. I took the book everywhere. And you know it's a good book when you take it everywhere. I gave this book 5 stars when I read it. I continue to think about it, and it remains a 5-star read for me. This is my second Wanda M. Morris book. I think that she is an author who is slept on, and we need more flowers for her. We need to give her more attention. All right, on to the books that I am currently reading. Oh, goodness. We have One of Us by Alyssa Cole. I am currently reading this book. I am, if you can see, not too far into it, but far enough into it that I realize this is not your typical LaRosa read. It is a book revolving around a woman by the name of Ken who is suffering from dissociative identity disorder. She has several personalities. She has a whole host of what she calls headmasters who are running the show at different times. Different ones take the lead, and that leaves her in a space of not really being in control of her life, and she will disassociate. So that means that Ken, the main headmaster, will all of a sudden wake up or be present and realize okay, I'm here at this place. What the heck happened? So she realizes early on in the book that she, the headmaster, the main person in this headspace, in this body, has been away for 6 years. And she has no idea what the heck has happened in her life for those 6 years. This includes being in the middle of a pandemic. She's unaware that COVID has happened, and we are on the other side of the pandemic. It is an interesting mystery thriller for me because I've never really read a book that's involving a personality disorder as the main character, and how this is taking the character to spaces where she's experiencing it very differently all at once. What do I think so far is that this cannot be the winner of the NAACP Image Award. It's interesting to me that it's even a nominee. I actually need to learn, how do these nominees become nominees? Because when I think of literary fiction that has been out by Black authors, some of these books sometimes, like at least in the past, surprised me that they landed in this category, while others that I feel like were of better quality or achieved more acclaim are missing from the nomination. Who knows? What I do know is, look, we've got representation of a mystery thriller. The writing is okay. The story is okay. I do find myself reading a chapter 2 and then putting it away because it's just not moving fast enough for me. It's just not really doing much for me personally. But, different strokes, different folks. And then the other book that I am reading right now, oh my goodness, is one that has been on my radar since its release, and it is Neighbors and Other Stories by Diane Oliver. Diane Oliver is an author who we lost way too soon. She unfortunately was killed in a motorcycle accident in 1966, but what she left behind were short stories, writings that were really revolutionary and inspiring. I just feel like, wow, I can't help to think as I'm reading each story what we lost in the literary world and what we could have gained from having her remain with us. Those are thoughts. There's nothing we can do about that. What we can do, however, is honor her, read her work, and be inspired by it and moved by it. And that I certainly am. As you can see, I am about halfway, if not a little over halfway, into this collection of short stories. Every single story has moved me deeply and moved me in different ways. She is reflective. The stories are reflective of the 1960s, of the times she was living in. The way she writes is very atmospheric, and I have only used that adjective once on LaRosa to describe one other author, and that is Ann Petrie. There is a connection here for sure. I have not delved into any interviews or biographies of Diane Oliver yet, but I don't have to know that Diane Oliver was greatly inspired by Ann Petrie without totally taking Ann Petrie and replicating her artistry. She, being Diane Oliver, has her own very, very specific type of style of writing and prose that cannot be replicated. And man, oh man, it's a 5 stars across the board for me. I know that without even finishing the book, that this book is going to be one of my favorites for time to come. All right, then there's one book that I have yet to dive into, but you better believe I checked it out of the library, and it is titled Grown Women. This book is by Sarai Johnson, I believe, and I just love its synopsis. My understanding is that we have a matriarch who ends up being estranged from her daughter, or her daughter ends up being estranged from her mother. That woman, the daughter, ends up having her own daughter, and it's either the third generation or the fourth generation that has a daughter who needs all of the women in her family to support her in her journey of life, in her pursuit of her dreams. And that pursuit ends up reunifying this wonderful family of dynamic women. I love this idea of Black women in a family being represented in a way that is raw and real and not perfect. I am blessed to say that my family, the women in my family, have been strong and unified on both my father's side and my mother's side. Seeing those relationships, and also experiencing their love and their rearing and raising of me, I know has shaped me to be the woman, the wife, the mother I am today. I just think these kinds of stories are just so sweeping and so necessary. I'm excited to see this book in this literary fiction category. I'm also excited about the author because I believe this is her debut. And I think what an accomplishment it is for her to have achieved being nominated in this category. Which book do I think will win? My prediction is immediate. This is not a difficult one for me. Last year, I was kind of tussling between, one or two books. I ended up being completely wrong. If you want to see that video, you can check it out. It's here on my channel. I feel like I immediately know which book, in my humble opinion, should win in this category. And it is Neighbors and Other Stories by Diane Oliver. So here's the deal. There are several reasons why I strongly believe this should be the winner. The first one being the sheer fact that it is an exceptional collection of short stories, so brilliantly written, so brilliantly expressed, so tangible, and also serves as a history lesson in prose, a history lesson using fictional characters that we know could really have existed in the 1960s. The second reason why I believe strongly that this should be the winner, this collection should be the winner of the NAACP Image Award, is because Diane Oliver should be known by every single reader and writer, should be in the history books, should be on the tips of our tongues whenever we talk about the greatest authors to have ever lived and graced us with their gifts. This woman deserves her flowers, and it's so unfortunate that she isn't around, that she isn't with us, but her writings are. And so let's celebrate her right here, right now. We can't make up for lost time, but we can begin anew. We can begin to speak of her, to read about her, to read her works. I think it's high time we do that. I believe that Diane Oliver's collection of short stories should be the winner for the 2025 NAACP Image Award for Literary Fiction. What the heck? I have the worst streak with this NAACP Image Award for Outstanding Literary Work Fiction. The very book that I just knew was an absolute no for the win wins. I have since discovered that people are voting. I just think anybody can hop online and vote at the NAACP Image Award website. We're about to have dinner, but I'm baffled. It must be like totally like the authors and the PR people, the publicists, the publishing company pushing people to vote. This leads me to wonder about the other categories that are more mainstream, in the music categories, in the film and TV categories. We're usually not surprised, but it's a popularity contest. It's not necessarily on merit. Now, sometimes the two intersect. I do not agree. And I haven't even finished Neighbors and Other Stories. I haven't even finished. What is the book called? One of Us, or whatever the heck it's called. It's not horrible, but it's not really that great unless something amazing happens, like soon. I'm not going to be impressed.
Who is this?
Guess we can try again next year, or just say forget it. But it is fun. I don't have to be right to have fun. Until next time, happy reading. Bye.